So you've got a Galaxy Watch, whether that be the Watch Classic, whether that be the Watch Ultra, or just a basic Galaxy Watch 7. If you've got a Galaxy Watch, you might want to know some tips on how to get the most out of it. This is the video to watch. Welcome back to SamMobile TV. You're here with Daniel. And today we are going to be diving deep into some of the settings and tips for your Galaxy Watch Ultra. Tip number one, it's some gestures that you can use to sort of interact with the watch, basically covering the screen. Samsung phones have this thing where if a phone call is coming in, you can turn the phone over and it will mute it. Allow me to demonstrate. So phone call's coming in, I literally just turn the phone over and the call is now muted. So it's not vibrating, you don't hear it, it's basically done. The watch can do the same thing. So first one is that if you just cover the watch screen just with your hand, it turns it off. So even if you've got the time on there to cover it, it's done. But it's not just about covering it just to mute the time. You can also do other things. So again, if a phone call is coming in and you see it coming through on your watch screen, cover it and it mutes it. It also works for things like alarms as well. So if you're getting an alarm, same process. The alarm would show on the screen, you cover it with your hand, dismisses it, or at least mutes it. Second one is to do with the buttons. Now with the Watch Ultra, there was a new button called the Quick button, which allowed you to press it and assign an action to it. Should have just been called the Action button. I've got mine set to water lock, but if you don't have a Samsung Watch Ultra, Galaxy Watch Ultra rather, and you have just a normal Galaxy Watch, these buttons either side of it can actually be programmed as well. So to do that, if you go into the settings and you go into buttons and gestures, you can see home button, double press. You can choose it to launch a whole bunch of different things. So it doesn't necessarily have to just be what's available. There's a lot of different things in there that you can actually launch. An app, an action. So for example, I had mine set to camera controller. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And there's a press and hold too. So press and hold doesn't have to be power off. Press and hold can be your assistant, whether that be Bixby or Google. And then the back button also has an actionable sort of button press. So a short press can go to previous screen and a long or show recent apps. So if I wanted to show the recent apps on the screen, I can set it to that. So you don't necessarily need the action button or the quick button, as it's called, to have actions assigned to buttons. You can do it in here as well. Tip number 3 is to do with modes and routines. And there's some predetermined modes on the watch already. If you swipe down from the top here, you'll see the little modes icon. And you can see a whole bunch of different modes that have already sort of been assigned to the watch. The great thing is that these ones actually sync up to the phone. So if I was to turn on here, theater, or it hasn't actually been set, so you can actually see and set custom modes based off certain things. So for theater mode, I can have it 2 hours, or if a movie's 3 hours, but usually it's about 2. So that's a good place to leave it. And then you can choose what your watch does in theater mode. So always on displays off, raise wrist to wake turns off, touchscreen to wake is off, and vibrate mode, sound mode goes to vibrate. Ways to avoid distractions, turn on do not disturb. I want to show this one because this is important. What you'll see here is when I turn on theater mode on the watch, so go into modes, go to theater, it activates do not disturb on the phone. So it sort of syncs it up. And there's lots of different modes that you can activate. And as you saw, you can sort of create your own. The way you create your own is in the phone itself. So if you go into Quick Panel and swipe down and find modes and routines, if I go in here, I can actually create a mode that involves things like the watch. So I can go and add mode here and customize a whole bunch of different stuff. Better turn theater mode back off. Number 4 is a fun one. It's PowerPoint controller on Windows laptops. So if you don't have a clicker for your PowerPoint presentation, just use your watch. It's real easy. If you actually swipe up, I think this app you need to download first, and it's got the PowerPoint controller here. Tells you which device to connect to, and now I'm connected to it because my laptop is on. And then when I hit this play button, whatever PowerPoint presentation is open, it will launch into presentation mode, and then I can use the clicker to click through it. It's real simple and it just works via Bluetooth. So if you're in a bind and you need a clicker and you don't want to hold something, this could be your way forward. What's really cool too is with the Galaxy Watch 6 Classic, you actually can rotate the bezel and it will do the clicking, which I found really cool. Number 5 is an old one, but a good one. You can download tracks from Spotify to store offline. So if we go into Spotify and launch it, obviously you need to sign in first, which is fine. But let's say, for example, I've got this Taylor Swift playlist here that our family listens to. I can download this. And the best part is you don't need an LTE smartwatch or LTE activated to do this. This can either use the data from your phone to download it and then put it on the watch, or connect it to Wi-Fi in your house and download it that way. And what's great about this is when you are out and about and you don't want to take your phone with you, you just need buds and your watch, and then it will then play the music offline for you to enjoy. And I'm gonna give you a couple of bonus ones here that I like and sort of have been using. First one is camera controller. I spoke about this briefly earlier, but I've set up a little, so I'll double press this and that'll launch my camera controller. And as you can see, it's now launched the camera on my phone. And then what I can do here is take a photo and press it on there, and then it counts down on the phone and takes the photo. Really good for group shots, especially on phones that don't have S Pens, which the S24 Ultra obviously does, but this one doesn't. So I can actually set this up in flex mode, for example. Why don't I do that right now and take a nice photo of myself? So I'll set this up like this. It's on the wrong camera, which I could have changed with the watch, but whatever. And as you can see, I can see myself now here. With this, I'll take a nice photo. And now I've got a nice photo of myself from a low angle, albeit, that I've taken with my watch without needing to actually use my phone at all. The last one is to do with gestures again, and this is a Watch Ultra one by default. I think there might be a way to activate it in accessibility settings on the other watches, but it's the double pinch. So let's say, for example, I set an alarm. So I'm just going to set one now for 1:26 p.m. because I want it to happen relatively quickly and we don't have all day. So I'll go through and set that. So hit save. When it eventually ticks over to 1:26 p.m. on my watch, it will give me the option to actually double pinch to pause and stop the alarm. Alarm stopped. That can be real handy when you don't have a spare hand to sort of drag it away or get your phone out. Quick double pinch and it stops it, and away you go. Look, there have been some tips. You ended up getting 7 or 8 by count tips on the Galaxy Watch Ultra, Galaxy Watch in general rather, a couple of Ultra specific, but who's counting? You probably are. Let me know in the comments which one you use or which one you didn't know about. Curious to see. Hit subscribe to SamMobile TV whilst you're down in that area. Go check out our website, sammobile.com. Visit us on all our socials. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.